Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over the best controller Fortnite custom binds, settings, and dead zones for Fortnite Season 11. For the custom binds, as I always try to do, I'll be discussing the best binds for all three different types of controller players, which are NonClaw with no paddles, NonClaw with paddles, and finally Claw. Also, be warned that this video will not be showcasing anything to do with sensitivity. I literally just made a new best sensitivity video about 1 to 2 weeks ago for both new sensitivity and legacy sensitivity controller players, so if you want to see that, I'll be sure to put an annotation on the screen right now, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so let's start this video off by going over the best binds for the non-claw, non-paddle, and non-claw with paddle players. Even though those are definitely two different things, since they're both non-claw, pretty much all of the custom binds are going to be the same, so I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about them in the same little section. And towards the end, I'll also discuss what I think non-claw paddle players should bind their paddles to. So starting off with the combat control section, pretty basic and standard stuff here. The only binds that I would say are important / noteworthy are edit, which is bound to left stick / L3, and that's pretty much the consensus best edit bind for non-claw players, and also toggle pickaxe is bound to Y / triangle. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but obviously since edit is bound to clicking down on left stick / L3, you need to have the setting sprint by default on for these binds to actually work. It's a super easy setting to get used to, and at this point the vast majority of players definitely use it. Now, I will quickly say, I know some non-claw, non-paddle players like to bind jump to left stick / L3 because it enables them to jump and aim at the same time while in gunfights. Even though I personally wouldn't really recommend that, if you did decide to do it, you would just simply move edit to A on Xbox, X on PS4. Another interesting option similar to that is binding edit to left stick / L3, jump to right stick / R3, and then making A / X crouch. Obviously, those binds are much more unorthodox and probably a lot harder to learn, but I just thought I'd briefly mention them as potential options. Now moving over to edit controls, and this part has actually changed a little from the last time I made a video like this. The button you press and hold to select the squares while editing is still RT / R2, and that's the select button that pretty much everybody uses. But I now believe that the best confirm edit button is LT / L2, and the best reset edit button is RB / R1. Think about it like this, non-claw players will defaultly have their fingers sitting on the following buttons: left stick / L3, right stick / R3, LT / L2, and RT / R2. So when you're making a typical edit, you'll press left stick / L3 to initiate it, then hold RT / R2 and move right stick / R3 to select the squares you want to edit, and then you'll press LT / L2 to confirm that edit. Throughout that entire process, you won't move any of your fingers away from their default positions, which means that you'll be able to edit quicker and maybe even a bit more accurately as well. The only time you'll ever need to move one of your fingers off the default buttons during the entire editing process with these binds is when you have to reset an edit, and even then you'll only be moving your finger from RT / R2 to RB / R1, and those buttons are pretty much right next to each other on the controller. In my previous binds video, I actually recommended having everything else the same as it is in this video, except I had reset edit and confirm edit flipped, so reset was LT/L2 and confirm was RB/R1. I still think those binds are definitely very good, so if you're used to them, I'd probably just stick with them. But the reason why I think these new binds are better is because you're going to confirm probably about 90% of the edits you go to make, and that's way higher than the percentage of edits you end up resetting. So having confirm on the easier and better button to press is definitely the way to go. Now, if you're a NonClaw player with paddles, as I said earlier, I'd pretty much recommend the same important binds. So left stick/L3 edit, RT/R2 edit select, LT/L2 edit confirm, and RB/R1 edit reset, but I'd tweak one or two things with the other binds. If you're a one paddle player, you no doubt about it want to bind your jump button to that single paddle. So with the binds I showed earlier, you just program A on Xbox or X on PS4 to your paddle, so you press that to jump. If you're a two or more paddle player, that's where it really comes down to personal preference. I know people that use their second or third paddles to do things like pull out their building menu, maybe reset edit, maybe pull out your pickaxe. There's really a ton of different things that you can do with those other paddles. Now, for the best claw binds, there's gonna be some significant differences here. The first in the combat controls section is that edit is now bound to B/circle, switch mode is now bound to Y/triangle, toggle pickaxe is bound to pressing down on left stick/L3, and jump is the normal A on Xbox, X on PS4, and obviously that's because the main point of playing claw is the fact that you can keep jump on A/X, but still be able to jump and aim at the same time because of the way you hold the controller. I personally have never played claw, but luckily I talked to a bunch of people who do, and apparently this is hands down the most comfortable bind setup for claw players, and these exact binds are used by a ton of the top claw controller players. Then, as we move on to the edit binds, it's the same as it was for both the non-claw options. Left stick/L3 edit, RT/R2 edit select, LT/L2 edit confirm, and RB/R1 edit reset. So that covers the best binds for non-claw, non-paddle, non-claw with paddles, and claw controller Fortnite players. So now let's move into settings. Most of this here is fairly standard stuff that pretty much everybody already uses, but there are a few that I want to specifically point out. As I mentioned earlier, sprint by default you definitely want to have on, tap to search/interact you definitely want to have on, auto open doors is another one that you want to have on because it pretty much has no negatives, auto sort consumables is a nice one to have on, and builder pro builds immediately you definitely want to have on as well. Then there are a few on here that come down to preference mostly. Edit mode aim assist can be on or off. If you play on console with a high editing sensitivity, I'd probably recommend having it on, but if you play on the new sensitivity settings, it'll defaultly be off, so you won't even have to worry about it. Sprint cancels reloading as preference, but I personally like it on. Controller auto run is also preference, but I actually like it off because sometimes when I had it on, I'd accidentally auto run in the middle of fights, and that's pretty much it. Plus, something that didn't show up here that I always get questions about is vibration. I personally have mine off, and I know most other top controller players have it off as well, so take that for what it's worth. So now, the final thing I want to quickly show and talk about in this video are dead zones. Me personally, I'm currently rocking with a 0.10 dead zone on both my left stick and my right stick. However, unlike most of the binds and settings I showed in this video, I don't think it's a great idea to just copy my dead zone values. If you're someone that uses a PS4 controller, for example, since the thumbsticks are different than they are on an Xbox controller, dead zone values are actually going to have a totally different effect. And even if you use an Xbox controller but have different sensitivities than I do, 0.10, 0.10 simply may not work out all that well for you. I think 0.10, 0.10 can act as a nice starting spot. That's probably better than the default dead zone values. And then from there, you can adjust up or down based on how it feels. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about the custom binds, settings, and dead zones I shared in this video, and if you use anything different, let me know what it is. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.